Okay, and we're live. Hello, everybody. If you're watching this on repeat, hi as well, or replay, I guess. My name is Mary, and this is my channel. And then this is my co-host, Amanda. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Amanda. I had a YouTube channel. I think I give this spiel every time. I've decided I'm not uploading to it again this year. But I do have my Instagram, which is at Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. There's some like periods and underscores in there.
It's all linked down below.
Yeah.
All of your socials and then my socials. And I don't remember, we used to have a few other people who would occasionally come on here with us.
Mm-hmm.
None of them could make it to this show. This has been a very casual buddy read, but this is our final, or our finale, I guess, of the Jane Austen Book Club. This year, we read all 6 of Jane Austen's full-length novels in publication date order. So starting with Sense and Sensibility back in February, and then we read Persuasion for December.
Yep.
So, I think I'm having Wi-Fi trouble. That's not great.
Oh, no. I mean, you look fine to me.
Okay, cool. I just got the little icon thing popping up. So if I go out, that's what happened. But hopefully that won't happen.
Yeah.
Great. Well, do you want to give a synopsis of the plot of Persuasion?
Sure. Okay. So synopsis. We have Anne Elliot who we follow throughout the story. At one point, she had an engagement to this man. It wasn't Wentworth. I just read that. Who was his name?
I don't remember his name.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Anyway, to this man who wasn't quite high enough in the standards of her father and then a friend of her mother's. So she called off the engagement, and time went by. I think it was like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
And so now she is a 27-year-old woman who is still unwed, who lives with her father and a sister who is not very kind. And then she does have another sister who is wed. Their family ends up not being able to afford their home anymore, so they have to rent it out to another family who so happens to be the sister of the man she was engaged to 8 years previously. So it's kind of the story of them coming back together and rekindling past affections for each other and just kind of going from there.
Yeah. That was a much better synopsis than I would have been able to give. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember his name either. It's going to drive me nuts. Because there was another love interest that was one of Anne's cousins.
Yep.
But
why does it not say? Nope, not Captain. It is Wentworth.
Is it Wentworth?
I think so.
Wasn't that one of the characters from another book?
There's a lot of W's.
There are, like, Willoughby. Wait, I don't know. Good, Wentworth. Excellent.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. I enjoyed this one. I really liked that we followed older characters.
Yes.
Who also seemed to sort of be similar in age. This is the one that had the smallest age gap, I think, between like the love interest and the heroine, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one thing I really like about this as well. I thought this was one of my favorites, but upon reread, I didn't like it as much as I thought I had. And I think it's because of the writing style. So I think I wanted to be more in Anne's mind versus following her as an outsider. Because it just felt so distant from her and what was going on. And it was a lot of narrating what was happening. And then I would kind of get thrown off when we would be thrown into like actual character dialogue. So it took me a while to get into the rhythm.
I agree. And I kind of was expecting it to be more like, I don't even know if it's that much different in writing style from like Pride and Prejudice and Emma and Sense and Sensibility, but it felt more like the writing style that she used for like, God, I always forget what it's called. Not Northanger Abbey, the other one that's named after a
Mansfield
house.
Park.
Mansfield Park, where it's like, I mean, it was more focused on her as a character and like the love story than that one is.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can hear my dogs barking. But it just was like very, yeah, I agree with it. It wasn't as, I guess, character focused as I was kind of expecting it to be.
Yeah, it was detached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How did you feel about Wentworth as a love interest?
I really like him. I think the thing that I like most about this is that these two, I mean, their love at the beginning was kind of like a whirlwind experience. It was a very fast sort of thing. But the thing that I really liked is that they got to know each other better as they came back together. And even though both parties were confused because he was like, oh, there's no way she still loves me. And she's like, oh, he's got Henrietta and the other sister that are hanging all over him. So there's no way he's still interested. It kind of gave them the chance to get to know each other better as people. And so like she got to see his compassion for people and just how he kind of treated people. And he saw her grow into an even stronger woman just by sticking to her morals and just the way in which she cared for people and things like that. So I think it was really cool to be able to see that. I think he was all right. I mean, I don't think he was anything outstanding, but he definitely, his flaws, I feel like were not as prevalent as maybe other main love interests we've seen so far.
Yeah. I almost felt like he was, maybe this is partially because of the detached writing style, but I did like him. I really liked his declaration of love, like that letter he wrote. I thought that was really nice. But I just kind of felt like he was a little boring to me. And I think part of that is because, like, in Pride and Prejudice, we get Darcy's point of view relatively early on with, like, how he actually feels about Elizabeth.
Right.
But with this one, I feel like we didn't get that at all. And
no.
I don't know. I didn't think it was as easy to decipher how he felt about her.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like were there still lingering feelings? Like, how does he feel? Has he thought about another woman since, or is she the only one? And
yeah. And even just with the, like, I think it was Louisa and Henrietta, the two sisters, that they were like, maybe he'll like want to marry one of them or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird that he was giving them so much attention if that wasn't his intention. But I guess maybe because he didn't know how Anne felt about him, he was like, well, I will marry one of them because it's time. I don't know.
Wasn't it also called out though that like the attentions he was giving to them made it seem in the public eye that he was like, that was basically their contract of engagement. And so that's why he had stepped away and detached himself after
she got
Louisa,
hurt.
right?
Yeah.
Got hurt is because in everyone's eyes, they were like, oh, these two are engaged. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to be engaged to her.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. How did you feel about it being set at, like, partially at Bath again? Because I think Northanger Abbey is the other one that's set where they like go to Bath for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I think Jane Austen spent a lot of time in Bath, right? So
I don't know. I would assume so because she writes about it a lot.
Yeah, so it's a very familiar setting to her. I kind of like that even though we had the setting of Bath that drew them away to Kellenich. Was that the name of the state? Something like that.
Think so.
I still feel like because Anne stayed with her sister in the country, we didn't get as much of Bath as we did in other books where they go like actually into the city.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that we stayed out of society in a way, and we're able to just kind of see the characters at home more than seeing them like put on these airs to, you know, try and make advantageous matches and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I prefer the parts where they're in all of the books, where they're like in their country homes and like in the town that they usually live in.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know. It feels like cozier to me. I just like it more. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
We sort of touched on the like detached writing style. How did you feel? Because we've talked when we were like comparing other books, how she has very similar plot structures in most of hers. Did you feel like this one was more different or more of the same?
It definitely had some overlap and similarities. I feel like we didn't get very many of like the frivolous side characters. Everyone kind of seemed to have a purpose in driving the narrative of this story. Yeah, I mean, you still have the kind of not immediate love attachment where it's growing, and you don't find out until like the very end how such and such feels about whoever. But it did feel slightly different, I think, too, because of the writing, and also just the age of the characters and how they interacted, and how we can see that as they grow more mature in age, so do their relationships and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I also felt like the tone of this one was a little more serious than her other books. And I think part of that might have been that she sort of took out the, I don't know, the wacky, goofy side character. Because I feel like the nosy neighbor or whatever character, what's her name? Mrs. Reynolds, the one who originally told Anne to break off the engagement or encouraged her to.
Yeah, it's something with an R.
So I feel like that character in other books would have been the like silly character or I don't know, the like caricature, but I feel like there weren't any caricatures in this one.
No, I think it helped too that she was drawn away from Anne, because Anne was supposed to stay with her while her father and eldest sister moved back. And then her sister, was it Mary? Needed her help,
maybe
because she was feeling ill.
Yeah. So maybe Mary was the silly character this time.
I think she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
She was the one that always had all the ailments. And I think, wasn't her husband like originally going or had intentions for Anne?
Yes.
And then Anne made it.
Do you remember?
Anne basically said like, no, I'm not interested.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so then he basically settled for her youngest.
Yeah, and that's why she ended up not being married. I remember. Okay, yeah. Very interesting.
And then we still did kind of have the character who wants to shake things up. They're kind of like bad guy and Mr. Elliot, the cousin.
Yeah. Because wasn't he looking for money or trying to do something along the lines of like he had never been interested in their family before because they weren't that well off, but
yeah.
I can't really remember exactly what happened. I listened to this as an audiobook, which never serves me well.
Yeah.
For Jane Austen is what I've learned.
Yeah.
Because I just don't remember everything that happened the way that I would have if I had like read it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to watch a movie of this, but I didn't have time beforehand, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to watch. But yeah, so he, I think originally they were trying to set up Mr. Elliot with Elizabeth was the oldest sister, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Maybe. I feel like she recycles so many names that I just
can't keep track. So he was originally, I think, supposed to be set up with the eldest sister, and then stopped coming around. So they basically
Yeah.
like wrote him off after that. And then when Anne was in the other town with Wentworth and the two sisters and her sister and her brother-in-law and stuff, that's when he was staying at the same inn as they were. So they kind of like saw each other in passing. And that's when he kind of had his eyes set on Anne. And at this point he had gained a fortune, right?
Yeah, somehow. I thought he did it through like not illegitimate means, but like not really honest means. I thought that was like something.
No, because then his first wife that he had married that passed away, she was not of any like great means or anything.
Okay. I don't really remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then basically when he was called out, he ran away.
Yeah.
Right?
Hasn't his wife like just died?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got the line about Anne Elliot saying that like men don't seem to be as attached to their loves or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Wentworth comes back with that he never stopped loving her.
Yeah. Oh man, the drama.
Yes.
I don't feel like he was nearly as bad of a character though as like the other bad guys.
Yeah. Like there was no random elopement with someone's sister. There was no love child.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was much tamer, which I think also might be like a maturity, I guess, of Jane Austen, and she made more mature characters this time, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I liked, even though all the characters are kind of younger than the other love interests she used to have. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that she gave Anne multiple love interests, even though she was older. Because there was that character in Pride and Prejudice who's like, no one wants to marry me. I'm 28 years old.
Right.
And so she just married
Charlotte.
Yeah. And so I thought I just thought it was interesting that she did give multiple love interests still. So she kind of like went against, I guess, something that she used to do. But maybe as she got older, well, no, because she would have been like in her 20s when she wrote the other stuff too, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe she wanted that to be a thing too.
And and I mean, it is a way to like create drama and to sort of distract from to add tension to the actual love story by like adding in an extra love interest.
Yeah.
So I saw something. Oh, go ahead.
I noticed one thing she likes to do is start out the books with like the girls as they're younger and talks about how like unfortunate looking they are. And then they always grow up to be like super beautiful and stuff.
Yeah. Puberty is kind to them.
That's nice.
It is funny. Yeah. Okay, so I saw something that said that Persuasion is like a very autumnal book in its setting, and then also because it's like the autumn of Anne's life.
Interesting.
I don't know. And there's some like debate as to whether it's like actually about Jane Austen's life. Not really, but like, because wasn't she engaged and her fiance died or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I saw something about like maybe she was writing this as like a second chance for herself too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I don't know a whole lot about Jane Austen's life though, so I would have to, become more of a scholar and actually maybe read the introductions of these books and do some outside research to really know. But yeah, I mean, I could see that being it.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of other like topics in this book that we can sort of analyze or I guess just discuss. I thought it was interesting, and I don't know that much about the era that this is set in and when it was written. I'm not a history person. I don't think I've taken a history class since high school, so it's fine, but I don't know. I was curious because they acted like the Navy wasn't like a good profession. Like there's so much talk about how like Navy men are ugly and like their wives are ugly because they're on the boat with them. And like, I thought that was so, I don't know. I guess it's just different from like the gentleman farmer who just owns land.
Right.
Hires people to work it. So I wish I knew more about the like class politics because I feel like there's a lot to be said about class politics in these books that I just don't know that much about.
Yeah, definitely. I'd have to do a much deeper dive. But yeah, it is really interesting because then too, if you think of like books set during the World War II time period, like anyone in the military is seen as like the big thing to, you know, get your hands on is to have a man in a uniform and stuff. And then to go to a different time period where it's just kind of like they're probably just working class or less than working class. And it's almost not like good enough.
Yeah. It's almost like it's people who would have been working class, but that's like joining the Navy is a way for them to like break out of, I don't know, not necessarily poverty, but like maybe it's like a way for them to get a title, to be able to have enough money to where they can buy land. So it's I feel like it's an interesting conversation between old money and new money.
Yeah.
But also I feel like if Captain, like, cause people really liked Captain Wentworth when he came back because he had made a name for himself and made money, but wouldn't he still be in the Navy? So wouldn't he still have the same, I guess, like class status? Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think, but maybe he's, you know, one of the few that has done something for themselves with that title. So yeah, it was interesting.
I thought that was an interesting, just like, I don't know, because I feel like they spent a lot of time making fun of people and then not really making fun of, but like talking about people in the Navy and like, I guess, discussing it. And maybe, and part of that was, I guess, from him or Anne's father having to rent their house.
Yeah.
To someone in the Navy. But I also thought that was interesting because it's like they can't afford to live in their house anymore. But they still look down on the people who are going to be able to afford to pay them rent to live in the house.
Yeah.
It was just like a very,
Yeah. Which was maybe just him being mean for the sake of being mean because he could no longer afford.
That's true. That could be part of it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think her dad or her eldest sister were particularly nice people.
No.
So, yeah.
What was your ultimate rating of Persuasion on your reread?
I think I gave this a 3-star.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I think is what I gave it previously.
Okay.
Or it might have been a 4-star and then a 3-star. Or a 3-star and 4-star. I don't know. It was a 3 or 4. But I think it was a 3.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
What about you?
I gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
And I actually like went back and reread the like, I guess, letter or whatever that Wentworth writes to her. Because I think that's my favorite declaration of love.
Really?
That and the one in Emma are tied for me. I think I might just be desensitized to Pride and Prejudice at this point.
Really?
Because I'm so familiar with it. But both of these I read for the first time and I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm also a little sappy, which is fine. But yeah, I think I gave it 4 stars. And then I was almost like, I don't know. I felt bad giving it 4 stars, I guess. But I feel like the whole thing was a 3. The love letter was a 5. So
yeah. So you kind of had to be in the middle.
Give it a 4.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's do rankings of all the books that we read.
Okay.
What was your least favorite thing we read this year?
Probably Mansfield Park.
Interesting.
What's yours?
Northanger Abbey.
Okay.
I just thought it was so boring and forgettable.
It was, yeah. I
just didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your, like, I guess, second least favorite, fifth favorite?
Okay. I just organized my books. I think this is my order.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Then I'll put Northanger Abbey.
Okay.
Because that one is super forgettable. Then Emma.
Okay, fair enough.
Then Persuasion. Then Sense and Sensibility, and Pride and Prejudice as number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
My order is Northanger Abbey, then Sense and Sensibility, because I really dislike the ending.
Yeah.
I don't like the pairings at all and don't think it makes any sense. Then Mansfield Park, then Persuasion, then Pride and Prejudice, and then Emma.
Yeah, I knew Emma was going to be your number 1.
I loved Emma. I can't explain it. I just loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really did love it.
Maybe on my third read, I'll appreciate it more.
Maybe.
Or I'll never like it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's very much one that you have to sort of like recognize an unlikable character and then like appreciate her growth throughout. Although I have heard arguments that people say she never grows and she never grows. But I choose to think that she did. So
okay. That's fair.
It's a choice I'm making for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, who was your favorite heroine of all of them?
I think I like Eleanor in Sense and Sensibility the best.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
My favorite's Elizabeth Bennett. I like her.
Really?
The best. Yeah. Yeah. I like her the best. I feel like
she is spunky.
Yeah. I think that's why I like her, but a lot of the characters Jane Austen writes are spunky, but I feel like that's the one where she got a balance really well.
Yeah.
And I feel like Elizabeth does have a lot of character development that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So I like Elizabeth the best. And which is your favorite love interest?
Darcy.
Yeah.
Or Colonel Brandon.
And Colonel Brandon. I forgot you liked Colonel Brandon.
I love Colonel Brandon.
I would like Colonel Brandon if he ended up with the other sister.
Yeah, if he ended up with Eleanor.
Yeah. I feel like they would have been a good match.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Darcy's my favorite love interest too.
Yeah.
Talked a lot of smack about liking Mr. Knightley, but I love Mr. Knightley. But
yeah, but he's very, I mean, you see so much more of Darcy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he's the love interest that we get the most view of his character.
Yeah.
Like he actually becomes like a real person and not such a 2D like love interest.
For sure. And the way that he like takes care of things for, because like that's the thing that I guess I really liked about Mr. Knightley too, was that I felt like he was very supportive of Emma needing to take care of her dad and like all of that. Mm-hmm. But Darcy like actively goes and gets, is it Kitty? The sister that Lydia. I always forget.
Yeah.
It's the sister that runs away and gets them to get married, and he like whips it up.
Yep.
So
makes Wentworth, not Wentworth. What was his name? Not Willoughby. Willoughby? No.
I think Willoughby Simpson's Wickham.
Wickham makes him
Why are they all
do the right thing.
Huh? I wonder who, they're all W's. So I wonder who in Jane Austen's life had a last name that started with a W that she just hated.
Right? Yeah.
Gosh, which is your favorite couple?
Elizabeth and Darcy, or Eleanor and Colonel Brandon.
Yeah, if we're like mixing things up, going off.
Yeah.
Honestly, Eleanor and Colonel Brandon would have been my favorite couple because they talked the most. They hung out all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't. And then the other one, he's like, she's pretty and a teenager. I'll marry her.
Yeah, like I'm 20 years her senior. That's fine.
Perfect. Reasonable.
Yeah.
I also choose, okay, so my favorite couple is Emma and Mr. Knightley, but I pretend like he wasn't 18 when she was born. So,
oh yeah.
Helps me sleep at night. He knew her when she was a baby, which feels weird to think about. So, but if you just jump over that little hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
But I like them because I feel like their banter is very similar although less respectful than like Colonel Brandon and Eleanor's. I feel like they have the most talking to each other. And so it feels more like friends to lovers, and like,
yes,
they still don't know how the other one feels about them.
right.
But they have a lot of on-page time actually hanging out.
Yeah, and they have a lot of history, and you can feel that.
Because I feel, and that's what I wanted from Persuasion, I think. I wanted to feel the history that they had, but it still kind of felt like they were just dancing circles around each other.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't know. I'm sure I would love a movie of Persuasion, though. Because I feel like a movie could, like, whatever.
Tie it together better.
Yeah, and just, like, show it a little bit better. Because I feel like the book, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's a book that benefits from having a movie.
Yes, for sure. Who was your favorite of the, like, scoundrel characters, of the W last names?
I think, I'm going to go with James in Mansfield Park. The cat, it was something
the
with
guy
his
who,
Cartwright.
Yeah, the one who Mariah ends up having, like, an affair with when she's married. That was such an interesting subplot.
Yeah.
I would like a modern retelling of that book from that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a really good one.
Yeah.
I said the sister in Northanger Abbey because it's different. I was like, I like the lady scoundrel.
Yeah.
Because what's her name? Isabel?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
She was a scoundrel.
How dare she?
I'm glad James didn't go back to her.
Yeah. I like that one. I also liked, though, the guy in Sense and Sensibility. Because she, like, I thought they had a really romantic, like, first meeting. Because she sprains her ankle and he goes and, like, carries her to the house.
He was who I was going to originally pick.
I'm glad you picked the Mansfield Park one. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time. That's, like, truly the most scandalous of all of them, probably.
He was super scandalous.
She's married to someone else. Was he married too?
No, but he was starting to court Fanny.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
What a messy situation.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's fun.
Which one is your favorite setting?
Sense and Sensibility.
Mine too.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I loved the cottage by the sea. Yeah.
So
and
cute. Yeah.
With the hills and yes.
Yeah. That one's my favorite too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. And then the last one that I have on here is, which is your favorite funny side character? Like the Mrs. Jennings, the Miss Bates, the Mr. Bennett, the bees, I guess we can call them.
Mr. Bennett.
Probably. Mine too.
Yeah.
I feel like he's silly and like has good quips, but also he like cares about Elizabeth and his daughters, and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't like his daughters, some of them, it doesn't seem like, but he definitely, like, I don't know. He has their best interests at heart, which I feel like makes him more tolerable than like a nosy neighbor.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
I think he's one of the better parents that we actually get to see.
I agree.
Just because he does have his girls back, even though he gives his wife grief and probably causes all her gray hairs.
Yeah. Oh, good one. I thought, okay, I was trying to come up with more of these, and I came up with one and I didn't write it down, and I don't remember what it was. Do you have any other superlatives you would like to give out?
No, this made me think of high school, and one that always stuck out was best car. So instantly when I thought of that, I was like, who's got the best carriage? And it was definitely the brother in Northanger Abbey. Because I was like, mine is so fast. And
for sure.
There in 2 minutes.
What a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite adaptation?
Okay, so I've only seen one of each. So I've never seen and I haven't seen anything for Persuasion.
Me neither.
I think I hated the new Emma movie so much.
Okay, my thing about that, I didn't like it as an adaptation.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been fine if I hadn't read the original source material.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, and I liked the color palette. I thought it was a beautiful movie.
Yes.
And
I
I
didn't
also
like
thought
how
it was
they
interesting that they kept the like servants in the room while people were changing clothes because that's what it was
Yeah.
really like. I thought that was
Yeah.
a nice touch.
I just didn't write like the screenplay
I don't
of
think I
it.
did
Like
either.
I didn't think it translated very well. So I think for me it would either be the only Pride and Prejudice I've seen is the one with Keira Knightley.
It's the best one.
Yeah, or Sense and Sensibility with Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
like
movie
that
too.
one.
My favorite is 2005 Pride and Prejudice, but close second is the 1996, I think, Emma adaptation with Toni Collette in it.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out.
That one, and it's Gwyneth Paltrow too. It's Gwyneth Paltrow and Toni Collette. I felt like that was a much better, in my opinion, like depiction of Emma as a character. That was my biggest gripe with the 2020 movie. Is I made my boyfriend watch it with me, and I was like, I love this book so much. We watched the movie, and he was like, she's a terrible character. But I was like, and you're nodding because you agree. I was like, no, in the book, I swear she like realizes that she's mean partway through and like tries to do a little bit of like self-reflection. And I feel like that is really well sort of shown in the older movie, but in the 2020 movie, she just stays kind of mean and bad the whole time. And then what's his name is like, I love you now. And she's like, well, my nose is bleeding.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I also have the Colin Firth like mini series of Pride and Prejudice that I want to watch.
It's good.
And
I haven't seen anything for Northanger Abbey, Mansfield Park, or Persuasion. So I feel like I should watch an adaptation of all of those.
Yeah, I was able to find on YouTube one for Northanger Abbey and Mansfield Park, but I haven't for Persuasion. And then I was watching someone compare I think like the 2007 movie with the older one. And I think I would go for the newer version of Persuasion if I was going to watch it. Because I think she said that one stayed a little more true to the actual story. Whereas the other one kind of changed some things. So I'll have to check that one out.
I feel like adaptations can be tricky because like if you just do the original story, I don't know. I feel like for some things that's best, but a lot of times like you need a little bit of wiggle room, but then you change the wrong thing and you're just like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, like no, you had one job.
Yeah. But I'll have to watch more adaptations.
Yeah, that's one thing we should have done was have like a watch party after.
Yeah, that would have been really fun. I wish I thought of that.
Yeah. This year, whatever.
Yeah. We'll pick something else and we'll do it right this time.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, do you have anything else?
No.
The superlatives.
Yeah. I wish I could think of more, but no, just the car was the only thing that really popped in my head.
Do you have a favorite scene from like all of the books? Is there like a scene that always sticks out to you?
Is it Darcy's first proposal when he's bashing Elizabeth's family?
He's like, your sister's annoying. Your mom, bad manners.
But I love you. Yeah. That's my favorite.
Oh my God. That's another thing that I kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
What a time.
Yeah.
Just imagining that happening is so good. So good.
Yeah. I also, the last book I read was Lover's Vows, which was the play they did in Mansfield Park. So I finally know how unscandalous that is in these times, but how scandalous it would have been.
Very interesting. What's that about?
It is about a woman who was secretly engaged to this man who I think is a baron. And she gets pregnant with his child, and then his mother wants him to marry rich, so he marries someone, and I can't remember if he knew about the baby or not. I don't think he did, or I don't remember. So he goes away, and then his wife passes away, and he comes back to his like original estate, and the son is in the military. I think he's in the Navy. He comes home to get a birth certificate and finds his mom is like basically dying on the street. And so he starts to ask for help and finally gets the name of his father out of his mother. And he goes to him and asks for help. And then the guy is basically like, I didn't know you were my son. I didn't know I had a son. I didn't know she was still alive or anything like that. So then he basically makes amends and helps her out. Yeah.
Scandalous. Very bad.
Scandalous.
Not for children.
Nope.
That's quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That really is Jane Austen's most scandalous book.
Yep. I can see why.
Scandalous plays in it.
Yeah.
The affair.
Mm-hmm.
Really wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good times. I'm really glad you decided to do this though, because it was really nice to reread everything. Yeah. And then reread Mansfield Park for the first time. So it was good.
I'm glad that you were able to do all of the books, because otherwise the whole superlatives thing probably wouldn't have worked out. Yeah. So that was really good. I'm glad I did this too. I have always wanted to read all of Jane Austen's stuff, and I would not have done it if I was just relying on myself to make myself do it. So
need an accountability partner.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, if you are watching this on replay, feel free to respond to the superlatives down below, or if our one watcher wants to let us know, but maybe not. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you, Amanda, for joining me again.
Of course.
And we'll have to talk about what we're going to do this year.
Yeah. If anyone has ideas, let us know too.
Yes, for sure. Always looking for things to buddy read or read along with.
Yes.
So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.